Hello, Will.
Hello, David.
Hello, Internet. And welcome to our 5-year anniversary live stream. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
For now, if you are watching on the YouTube, go ahead and leave us a comment in the chat. Let us know you're seeing us. Let us know how you're feeling. All that stuff. That way we know that the stream's working.
Yeah, make sure we're coming through.
We are coming
through
across.
clearly.
Well, we've been doing this for 5 years.
5 years.
Spit all over our setup. We're starting off good.
It's so exciting. I'm salivating.
We started recording this podcast probably January, maybe even December.
Yeah.
Because the first episode was released before we were even on Podbean on YouTube. The first episode was released on January 28th, 2017.
Yep,
5 years ago yesterday.
Yep.
And we have released a new episode every fortnight since then.
Without fail.
Somehow.
Things like bonus news and things like, our other extra bits have...
All the other stuff that we release?
Those have, struggled
on a regular
on a
basis?
schedule. But the episodes every single fortnight.
We just last weekend, released episode 131. Mm-hmm. So it is going extremely well. This is our 5-year anniversary live stream. We've been celebrating with some posts recently, with some episode announcements recently. We have some special things to show off and to announce during this live stream. But we're going to, chat for a little bit. Yeah. We'll talk a little bit. If you have comments, if you have questions, please feel free to send them at us, and we will get to our special announcements here in just a bit. We have lots of people.
Everyone's so excited.
Everyone's excited. A lot of people are excited about our hair.
I was about to say people like. I'm assuming it's yours is the hair on display.
Yeah, but you look at your beautiful orange locks.
I got a little. I still have fun with this thing. It's still new to me, so every now and then I'm just like,
oh yeah, old hat over here.
Yeah, I just start wagging my head around, and I'm sure I look like a fly is.
Greg
says, to get it off of me.
Remember to like the stream. That is great advice.
Yeah.
We would greatly appreciate that if you would like the stream, because I believe that enhances our visibility.
Yep. Work that algorithm.
And such. Some people here, so we've done a couple of live streams. Yes. We've done a handful of live shows. We did live chat a couple of years ago. But most of our live stream audience these days is patrons, because we do Patreon specific live streams.
Yes.
But this is a public live stream. Everybody is welcome to join. So there will be some people here who I suspect have never had the opportunity to join us for a live stream before. So welcome to those people. Let us know if you are one. This is what we look like, by the way. We got a comment on Facebook. Yesterday. We posted a picture of ourselves celebratorily, and it's the two of us being all excited. And one of our listeners commented and said, I like listening, but I don't know which one is which.
Yep.
Which is the one with, and I forget the exact words, but it was like, which is the one with the outrageous, contagious laughter?
Yeah, the contagious laughter. Yep.
Right? And someone else, Ben, I think, responded and said, Will equals red hair, crocodiles, contagious laughter. David equals black hair, snakes, large igneous province. Which... You nailed it. You did it. Fantastic.
That's better written than any of our bios have ever been.
I'll replace my Twitter profile. Oh, man. We've got people commenting. Thomas says the beard too, man.
Thanks.
There you go.
Thanks.
Someone commented the snake pin. Yes, I have a snake hair pin.
Isn't it neat?
It's great. So our friend Laura, episode 84, and also one of our live chat guests, gave me a handful of these snake pins. They are fantastic.
They're really cool.
I'm very excited about these. Let's see. One person had already asked a question. Have you guys heard of fossil fighters?
I have, and I've watched a video of it at one point.
Is this a cartoon thing?
No.
I don't remember what fossil fighters is.
It's the one I'm thinking of. There's a video game. And maybe there's something different. But there was a thing that was basically Pokemon, but with dinosaur-esque things. Right,
yes.
And you fought and everything.
I do remember that.
And I watched, not a playthrough, but like a commentary. Like they played it and they would show scenes that they thought were that they had something funny to say about usually. But I've not played it.
No.
If that's the right one, I might be thinking of something completely different.
Something that is basically Pokemon but not is kind of a double-edged sword for me. because basically Pokemon is great, but the but not part.
Yeah.
Is like, I could be playing Pokemon.
A wide chasm in that but not.
We have been receiving all sorts of lovely messages for our 5-year anniversary on
really cool
social media. We got a handful of gifts.
Yeah,
yesterday.
Did.
We got 2 lovely postcards. One of them was from Jacob, I believe, and the other one...
Ooh, I can grab it.
Oh, man. Yeah, if you have it, grab it. It was from Ontario, but I don't remember the name off the top of my head. And we also got a bunch of gifts from Elizabeth, who really enjoys sending us gifts, and we really appreciate. We got some cool letters, and we got some shirts. So we appreciate all of the sentiment, the physical and digital sentiments we've been getting.
The other one was
from our listeners.
But this one's from Jacob. I thought it was the other one.
Jacob.
I think it was Hannah.
That's
Hannah.
Right. Hannah.
And then we also got the Spider-Man card that
opens up into...
This was Elizabeth. It's really cool.
That's a very cool card. But yeah, we got these wonderful postcards. This is one of those... I don't know if it's going to work on the digital a little bit.
It's working a little bit.
Kind of see it.
Yeah.
Very cool. We got Hannah's postcard over there. Yeah, so it's been a lovely inpouring of sentiment and support for us, which we really appreciate.
It's been very, very sweet.
Fossil Fighters is a DS game, and it's awesome.
That's the one I was thinking of. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, they were neat little cartoony versions of dinosaurs and fossil creatures that were kind of not monstered up per se. I mean, kind of, but more like fightered up. They were spikier and toothier and edgier.
Greg says, do they fight fossils or on behalf of fossils? Now, that's a game. I'd play that. Fossil Protectors.
Yes.
Derek says, you might be thinking of Dinosaur King, which was a show. Is that like Tiger King?
No.
Okay. Well, good.
Not as problematic.
Is it going to make me upset?
That was another one where it's like I was aware of it and I saw it and I was like, okay, yeah, I would have freaked out for that, 20 years ago. Like I would have been all over it. I have not actually watched it now.
So yeah, it's been an exciting time. It's been busy. The beginning of this year has been quite busy for us.
Yeah, a lot of things. Just trying to make sure we get everything done that we need done, and all of our I's dotted and T's crossed.
Thomas says, I have a question. What are the chances you guys will do video recorded podcasts so we can have visuals? Probably not super high as far as like the podcast.
Yeah, the full episode.
Yeah. We like the audio medium, and we know that we have a bunch of listeners who prefer that.
Yeah.
We've heard from lots of listeners who really like it as a podcast. But doing video content is something that we've been talking about, wanting to do more of.
Yeah, we definitely have plans to do videos. We have not settled on exactly what form that will take, but we definitely want to start to increase our YouTube presence and really start putting more visual stuff in, probably shorter though. A full episode, like a full podcast episode is...
A full podcast episode is 90 minutes.
Yep, as we originally said.
Just like we planned from the beginning. That's a lot.
It's a lot, and one of the nice things about audio is we can edit that very easily. So we don't just edit aggressively to where it's unrecognizable from what it sounded like when we recorded, but it lets us have moments of pause. It lets us catch our breath.
Mm-hmm.
If I have a moment where I go, wait a minute, I think I got my notes backwards, and I'm
is
a little confused.
A lot easier to edit. But like we said, we do want to do more video stuff moving forward. We've done a little bit.
Yeah.
We do want to do more video stuff, potentially more live stuff.
Absolutely.
And yeah, there will be opportunities for that in the future. Adam says it's because this podcast is amazing. I rarely listen to tunes in the car these days. Excellent. That's our real. We're killing the radio star.
Yep.
Right here. Fossil Fighters is where you dig up fossils, revive them, and fight them. There are different typings and stuff. One cool thing is that they'll make nods to paleontology history. That does sound pretty cool.
It looked neat. I've not played many DS games. Maybe someday. If we ever do stream those kind of things, like that would be a perfect candidate.
That is something we've talked about is doing video, science educational videos on the theme of the podcast, sort of the same style as the podcast, but also streaming stuff.
Yes.
We've gotten we talk a lot about movies on the podcast from time to time, and we've done a little bit of video games, and people have asked us from time to time, can you do more video game content? And so we have looked into the possibility of streaming.
Yeah. We'd be happy to do more video game stuff.
So that's something that, honestly, right now, that is waiting on us having the time to get it started and get into it.
And learn how to do it.
Yeah,
because neither of us have had any real experience with that.
We don't do the Twitch, really, but we're thinking about it. So that's something... It's
on the table.
On the radar. Absolutely. U2 says, FCOD. U2 inspired me to be a paleontologist. I'm currently a geology major. That's awesome.
That's really cool.
That's fantastic.
That's good. All the luck.
Yes.
That's so exciting.
Best of luck. It is an interesting and difficult time to be in school.
Yeah.
I know at the museum, there's a lot of students who end up working at the museum and who are in grad school. And I've watched over the last couple of years of the pandemic. It has been tough to be a student during the pandemic. It's really made things difficult. But I know a bunch of people who are still having great success and great experiences. So best of luck to you and to anybody out there. We have a lot of students who listen to us.
Yeah, which is, I always like that. It makes me think of what it would have been like to have this kind of content when I was going through school. And it's not, that I had trouble finding my interest in paleontology, but just that it's nice to know that we can connect with people going through schooling.
We've gotten, every now and then someone will reach out to us and be like, hey, I work in this lab, or I work in I'm a professor. Researchers, students, professors will tell us they listen to the podcast, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I'm always surprised when we hear that our paleontology colleagues listen to us.
Yeah, that's...
Because I'm like, what? You know this. You already know.
But you're like an actual...
Right, you know more than I do about
you're
half
doing
this stuff.
paleontology.
So that's always very encouraging. Well, like, Allie listens to us.
Legit. She's weird.
That's true.
She's bizarre.
Allie's a weird person. Hopefully she's not watching.
Yeah.
Hi, Allie.
We were talking about a different Allie, if that's the case. It's a wholly different Allie.
So a person whose username is Spider says, I started listening on episode 99 about insects. Do you have a favorite insect, and why is it the iron beetle? I can only assume the iron beetle is one of Tony Stark's suits.
Right? It's the crossover with Blue Beetle.
Right. Dragonflies.
Dragonflies are pretty awesome.
Dragonflies are my favorite insects.
Dragonflies really do rank high for me because you're predatory in air and water. And, like, in the air, you're a helicopter.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Like,
and they look so cool, and they're so pretty.
Yep.
They're so, I've seen so many colorful, awesome-looking dragonflies.
But then also, in the water, you're a horrifying xenomorph.
Yeah.
And they're really good.
Well, because you have animals like a frog, which starts off as an herbivore.
Yes.
Right? You're a tadpole, and you're an herbivore, and you live in the water, and you're very cool. And then you become a frog, and now you're a predator. A dragonfly goes from being a top predator in its size range in the water to metamorphosing into a top predator in the air.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
But my favorite insect's ants.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for the eusociality. I like ants.
Yeah. Runners up, mantids.
Mantids.
Praying mantis, super cool.
Yep.
Yeah. We got people talking about listening at work. My goodness. When we get the Patreon live streams, there's only so many people who tune in, so we can keep up with the comments.
Right?
There's a lot of comments.
Yeah.
People really like us,
We
apparently.
gotta practice.
Oh, man. Blah, 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 blah. Derek says, which extinct Cenozoic organisms would make the best Pokemon, and what types would they be? Sloth. We need a ground sloth Pokemon.
And, I mean, like, it would be the one everyone would expect, but a Smilodon, a saber-toothed Pokemon would be really cool, but a sloth has always been
and like a
high up.
Smilodon fossil Pokemon.
Yes, exactly. Like,
very cool.
Not just
also,
a cat
like
with sharp teeth.
Terror bird.
Yeah.
Would be super cool.
Oh, like Dodrio's big brother.
Currently studying zoology, hoping to do a master's in paleo. Very cool. We also have people who are not professionals. Mark Lar says, I am not a professional, but I've checked out Paleo Podcasts. You guys are my favorite. Thank you so much. Lydia says, To be fair, all branches of paleo have their own quirks, and then there's a picture of a tree, so I
Yes.
assume we're talking about Allie again.
Yes.
Allie's great.
Oh, yeah, we love Allie.
We love Allie. Allie's fantastic. Allie made a very sweet tweet in support of us yesterday after our tweet. She is great.
She's the best.
Oh, man. Fiona, another student here. First year of ecology, geology. Excellent.
Very cool.
Very nice. Go-to for moving books. We do get a lot of people who say that we are what they listen to while they're doing tedious stuff at work, which is great, especially for paleontologists. I mean, yeah. Like Laura, I works in the lab a lot of the time, and she will put on audiobooks and stuff because a lot of paleontology is tedious and repetitive.
That was my go-to when we would get to the lab section of the tour at the museum, I would, because there's multiple jobs to describe. Like when you're out in the field, you're describing how we dig up and how we remove the fossils. But in the lab, you have picking and repair and multiple stages that are very different.
And digging.
And so like it's very, there's a lot to say at the lab.
You said in the lab, I guess.
Yeah.
That's true. All right. I was reading comments.
But what I would always tell people is that no matter what you're doing in paleontology, it's tedious. Like every aspect of paleontology is tedious. It just, you have to find the right tedious for you. Like some people loved screening because it's basically just a workout. You just sit there and you screen the dirt, and you don't really have to do anything fancy with it. You can just chat or listen to music. Other people like digging because it's not strenuous. I like that one. Mm-hmm. Some people like picking. I like that one because you can watch your progress. Other people hated it. Some people like cleaning. I hated that. So you just have to find the right kind of tedious for you.
Absolutely.
And then you go with that.
For us, it's recording and editing on a 2-week rotation.
When people would ask what my tedious was when I was giving the tours, I was saying answering the same question every day, but I love it.
Like that one.
Yeah. Like people would be like, do you ever get tired of answering the same question? No,
it's great.
That's why I do the tours.
I'll have like the tour guides in training will ask me, they'll ask me questions, and then they always apologize.
Yeah,
they'll say sorry for asking you so many questions, and I'm like,
it's literally why I'm here.
I would do that until I died.
Yes.
We would stand here. I would do that until we needed to eat, and then I would say, don't stop asking me questions. Let's just go get food.
Yes.
All right, we're going to go get food and keep asking me questions.
Well, that's what would happen whenever they'd ask, like at the aquarium every now and then. They'd be like, can you come to the summer camp and talk with the kids, because they're doing a fossil day. Mm-hmm. Like today's theme or part of today's theme is fossils. And since I was the paleontologist at the aquarium, I would go there. And a lot of times the summer camp person would be like, so do you want them to like sit or like, do you need the projector? And I was like, honestly, if you can just let them ask questions, I'll fill an hour with that.
Easy.
Like we can fill an hour so easily with a bunch of kids and just the open platform of questions.
We've got so a lot of people are now commenting to say that they listen to us at work or in the lab. We've got a lot of students. We've got people who are not professionals. Very cool. Also, higher up, there was people commented that we want a Glyptodon Pokemon.
Oh, yeah.
Very good. And a Platybelodon.
Ooh.
Gomphotheer. I think Platybelodon is Gomphotheer.
Yes.
Also excellent choices.
That'd be really cool.
Melissa says, is anyone working on a spooky TTRPG, tabletop RPG, and when it's finished, can we play? Funnily enough, we get that question a lot. Yeah. And the answer is we have had people, fans sort of submit stat sheets and stuff, and we've thought about it.
Yeah.
That is one of our someday maybe.
It's kind of like ethereal bucket list plans.
We think it would be cool.
Yes.
We have no plans to do it. We think it would be very cool to sit down and actually like create a campaign setting that is the Spookyverse.
We definitely have ideas for the Spookyverse, like things we definitely are going to do and want to do, but there's others like that where we would also be huge fans of it if it happened. Maybe we'll be the ones to do it.
Right.
Only time will tell.
Oh, man. Have you ever considered reviewing fictional biospheres for plausibility? It came up in your discussion of Spielberg's King Kong, but other fictional biospheres exist. Yes.
That would be fun.
That would be a lot of fun. Oh, my goodness. There are tons. What's your favorite? Pterosaurs? Oh, man. Anurognathids and Ashdarchids. The big ones and the little ones.
Yeah. No, I'd agree with that.
What's your favorite outdated / fringe theory in paleontology? Oh, man.
I think one of my favorites is Iguanodon's shank thumbs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just because I remember it as a kid seeing that and being like, okay, I'll go along with this. That seems...
I had books that show it, like, jabbing T-Rex in the throat. This is, by the way, this is perfect for our viewers if I just entirely cover up your face.
But yeah, just like prison style going after a predator. And I remember as a kid even being like, I wouldn't have thought something like that would exist, but that's okay.
Sure.
And so I just love that one, just because how much things leaned into the idea.
I don't know. Probably a lot of the stuff that wasn't actually... There's a lot of stuff that has become famous that wasn't really a popular idea.
Yeah.
Like, one time someone suggested this, and then it kind of became historically well known.
An artist drew it after,
right?
And it got in all the books.
An artist drew sauropods in swamps because of a suggestion of sauropods in swamps, and then it just stuck for decades.
Yep.
Even as paleontologists were like, well, I mean, maybe not.
Yep.
It just became this long-running trope.
Yeah.
We've got a bunch of people talking about speculative stuff. Mm-hmm. We will definitely be doing more speculative evolution-y things.
Yep.
People peacing out. Bye, Thomas. Thanks for joining us. How long will this stream last? We are, in just a bit, going to start doing our announcements, which won't take too terribly long.
No, I don't think so.
And then after that, we're going to probably stick around until we're done.
Yeah, we don't have a specific time, but we have blocked out the potential for well over an hour.
Yes. So we are going to stick around and hang out with our listeners for a while. We have more than 50 concurrent viewers right now, which is awesome.
That's really cool.
Oh, man.
That's exciting.
Well, shall we start saying some of the stuff we have to say?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're good at time.
Today, we are celebrating 5 years of the podcast. And so part of that is we're looking back over what we've done across the last 5 years. And part of that is we're looking forward. So today, we have a few things that we're going to unveil. But before we unveil stuff, I'm going to go ahead and give some looking back stats. So I've been compiling stats.
David has been keeping track of the numbers for the podcast since the beginning.
Yeah.
It was partially because he's the one who did the uploading, that did the final get it ready to be put up. So he also was the one interacting with the podcast site. And David likes to keep track of spreadsheets with numbers.
Sure do. Oh, I like numbers. You may, longtime listeners, may have noticed. So here are some of our accomplishments over the last 5 years of podcasting. We have released, so the last episode we released was episode 131.
Yes.
Which makes 131 episodes, main episodes, that we have released. But actually it's 133 because episode 18 was 2 parts and we did a 37.5.
Yep.
So we have released 133 main series episodes, totaling approximately 244 and a half hours of content. So if you, dear viewers and listeners, are one of the people who has listened to every main series episode, let us know, and congratulations. That is an accomplishment. In addition to that, we have released, by my count, 64 additional episodes of bonus stuff. Spooky, or silver screen science, when we've done like Spotlight and live chat. All the bonus stuff amounts to a little over 71 additional hours. So if you are a person who has listened to all the main episodes and the bonus stuff, you are an Uber listener. Congratulations to you. But there's more.
Yes.
And I had not been keeping track of until recently. I recently tabulated this. On Patreon, we release bonus content. And I hadn't realized how much bonus content we put out on Patreon.
It sneaks up on you.
Because we do bonus news, we've done after chat, we've done some special Patreon announcements, we've done more thoughts for our Silver Screen Science. We have released 92 Patreon episodes specifically.
Which is way more than I realized.
Amounting to about 53 hours. So surely someone out there has listened to all 369 hours of Common Descent available content. There is a master listener.
Yes.
I'm sure.
Yes.
Funnily enough, I was thinking about that. There are a few things on this podcast that I recorded by myself episode 13, our SVP diversity anthology, some of our La Brea parts, and I'm pretty sure I edited it.
Yes.
So unless you've gone back and listened to those, which I doubt, because we're not in the habit of listening to our own podcast, if there's someone out there who has listened to all of our available stuff, potentially there is someone who has listened to more Common Descent podcasts than Will.
Yeah.
I think I've listened to everything.
Yeah. It's one of those where I've definitely... I feel like I remember listening through parts of those. So either I might have edited one of them.
Maybe, yeah.
Or I just did part of it. Like maybe I edited news and then sunk things up. But yeah, no, I have not listened. And I don't also, like back when we used to take turns editing, I would not listen through the episode fully. I would listen to it in chunks and click to specific parts usually. So I did not listen to every second.
But you were there for the recording.
I was there for the recording.
So we were there. On top of that, we have been, unless I'm forgetting somebody, we have been on 7 other podcasts.
Yes. Yeah.
Some of them a couple times. So that's exciting. Those are listed on our blog page. Mm-hmm. And we have also had guests on our podcast. More than I realized until I counted them up. We have had a variety of people lend their voices and expertises to the podcast in main episodes, in live chat and spotlight. We've done anthologies, our diversity episode, our Voices of La Brea. In total, there have been 59 people.
Wow.
Who have appeared besides us on our podcast.
Wow. I was expecting like in the 30s when I was like, well, it's probably more than I'm thinking. So probably like 30 something would be more than I...
bunch.
Almost 60 people. That's so...
Yeah. Including, by the way, next episode's guest.
Yeah, that's so cool.
We reach an audience all around the world.
Yep.
As of this recording, Podbean tells us that we have, in terms of download numbers, a little over 1.3 million downloads. And on YouTube, we have a little over 170,000 views.
Which I remember when we noticed that our YouTube was actually doing... Because like...
people are watching.
Yeah, well, because we
initially... And we upload the episodes on YouTube. They're just audio, but they do go up on YouTube.
And like initially when we started doing that, it was very much just like we started on YouTube and then we made the podcast. And if I remember right, there was a delay in before we started doing both simultaneously. There to where we had switched over to podcasting and didn't do YouTube for a little bit. And then we're like, well, I guess we can just put the audio up. And so we started doing both. And then we upgraded so that the podcast was doing both. So for a long time, it was just this like, yeah, I mean, why not? There's no reason not to. But we didn't consider it a YouTube thing. And then it wasn't until a little while ago that we noticed like, oh, wow, actually, there's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And a lot of downloads. It's actually really cool.
Incidentally, 60 people. I just remembered I forgot one because I wasn't thinking about people that have contributed to the Patreon episodes. And Keela joined us for one of the Patreon mini episodes. 60 people. Because somebody asked who's the runner-up as to most common guest after Allie.
Yeah.
And I think Laura.
Yes.
Because she was on an episode, she did live chat, and she showed up in one of the Patreon mini episodes.
Yes, I'm pretty sure she has.
Also, somebody said, I don't think expertise has a plural. I'll make it a plural. It does now.
Expertise.
And beyond that, and here's another metric that I haven't compiled in a long time. Every episode of the podcast since episode 21 has been a topic requested by listeners.
Yes.
Main series episodes. Before that, several of them were requested by listeners. To date, 131 main series episodes, we have done topics in response to a total of 453 requests from around 260 different requesters.
That's so cool, everyone.
Hundreds of people have contributed to the planning and layout of this podcast. That's fantastic.
It's really amazing. Not only because it makes our job so much easier, just like, oh, you take so much work off of us coming up with ideas. But it's also really cool to know that we're talking about things people want to hear about. Like early on when we were coming up with ideas, there was a bunch of givens of like, we've talked with the public. Yeah, surely people would find this interesting. But there's a bunch of topics that have come up that we've done that I don't think either of us would have considered being a really worthwhile episode, at least early on. But because you all have been requesting it, we get to do topics that we know at least a handful of people want to hear.
So we have done 453 requests. Now, that doesn't count, like, we have had people who've requested, like, speculative topics and movies. So that's not even counting that. This is just main series. Counting all requests and suggestions, would you like to know how many requests remain on the list?
This will give you an idea of how much longer we're making this podcast.
Right. Incidentally, this is all thanks to Jennifer, who has helped actually organize our request list, who I noted pop up in the comment stream. So hi, Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer.
As of right now, and this changes daily, there are 1,212 requests on our request list that we haven't done yet. So we've got some material.
Yep. I mean, we've got almost 15 more years at this rate.
Whenever I say a metric like that, I always worry that someone out there is going to be like, oh, well, why would I even submit a request if it's just this huge C? Please keep submitting requests. Because number one, we keep getting requests for new topics no one has suggested before.
All the time.
We also have requests that end up rising to the top because 1,000 people. Tyrannosaurs was requested by, I think, almost 20 people. So absolutely do not feel discouraged. Please continue sending us requests for episode topics and things you'd like to see and hear us do.
Yeah, even if your request isn't something brand new, if it's something someone else asked for, it lets us know, like, to prioritize a little bit. Like, okay, yeah, we really should get to that. A bunch of people want to hear about that. So it's always good.
Absolutely. So we've got a bunch of cool looking back. There's a bunch more stats we could do, but that's not why we're here.
Just gonna run through the spreadsheet.
We do have a bunch of more questions coming in, but first, we got to unveil some stuff. So when we were coming up on the 5-year anniversary, we were thinking, what are some special cool things we can do?
Yeah, we want to make an effort to do something particular for this.
Right. And the first thing we thought of was a new logo.
Yep.
So we reached out to the artist who did our first logo, Rob, and now we will unveil for the first time our official 5-year anniversary logo. Oh, is the mouse not? Hang on. I know how to fix this mouse.
All right.
Did it.
Bad mouse. All right.
We've got a whole fancy setup here.
We're so prepared. The mouse wasn't prepared. We were so prepared.
We're going to cut this out of the audio version. This is the stuff that you miss. Drum roll. I'm not actually going to drum roll because I don't want to mess with the mic.
Just hammer the table.
Let's see it. We have been working on this for the last, several weeks.
Yep.
With Rob. We have an official 5-year anniversary logo.
And I love it.
It's great.
I love it so much.
What's so cool? So if you're familiar with our existing logo, the same two characters, the snake and the croc, which incidentally, that is a pine snake and an American alligator.
Yes. I don't know if we've ever officially...
Rob said it.
Yes.
In one of his emails, and I've never thought of it this way.
And now that's how I think of it. This is absolutely how I think of it. This is Basque and Coil.
Yeah.
Basque the alligator and Coil the snake. These are their names.
That's great.
And it's absolutely their names now.
Yeah, canon. That is now official Common Descent canon. Their names are Basque and Coil.
It makes me so happy.
Also, what I love about this, in the image here, we've got the two of them sitting at a table again, like the past one, but there's no computer, but there is a microphone between them.
Yes.
The tablecloth says Common Descent with our classic logo, and then above it is a gold 5 years of Common Descent. And they are different. They have been redrawn a little bit. They're slightly modified from the previous logo. So very, very cool.
I'm really happy with it.
Very excited. I love the little hats. They're wearing party hats. And I think in the original logo, the snake has his tongue sticking out.
Yeah.
And the idea to make it a little party favor, phenomenal. That's awesome. So that's Rob, and you can see his information there on the bottom of the screen. Rob Soto. You can follow Rob on Instagram and Twitter. You can check out Rob's website. Rob does a lot of cool art. In fact, we're going to see a bit more of it.
Yes.
In a bit. Before we do that, we should also mention this logo is now also officially available in our Zazzle store for merch.
Yes.
So if you want this logo on a shirt, if you want it on a pillow or on a towel, whatever you want, this logo is up there in our Zazzle store. Zazzle Common Descent Podcast, the official store of the Common Descent Podcast,
Indeed.
is what I wrote on there. So check that out. It should be up now. We have not gotten those shirts yet.
No.
But we will. Oh, actually, yeah, Rob also did this shirt. So
Yeah.
I'm wearing his original snake shirt, the sort of much more of a realistic snake shirt. Very cool. Now, on top of that,
Yeah.
Rob has also put together some very unique and special art. Shall we show off?
I think we shall.
These are also available as posters and other merch on the online store. Will, let us get out of the way of this picture. Would you like to explain the logic behind these?
Yeah, so this was actually something that Rob approached us with for the middle image, that he had this idea of more kind of cinematic, a bit more movie poster-esque image. And while we talked, we came up with the idea of doing fossil sites. Fossil site themed art that is
Kind of like a movie poster.
kind of like a movie poster for that fossil site. And the two main things that we wanted to go with was fossil sites that we've discussed on the podcast, and we wanted to go with different major eras.
Yes, so we've got a Paleozoic. So we can run through them. We've got a Burgess Shale, one over here, which depicts an underwater scene with a wall of sponges and corals and such, with Anomalocaris lurking in front of it and a trilobite swimming in the background. Very serene. That one's... it's a very cool picture. Cool like the coloration.
Yes, exactly.
Burgess Shale, episode 89 of the podcast. We've got the Hell Creek Formation, episode 127, which is a forest scene. Redwood trees and ferns with a juvenile T-Rex stalking around while a few other animals are keeping their distance.
Yeah.
Which might be hard to see in this version, on this image. But like we said, on Zazzle, you can get these. And then the last one is Naracourt Caves, episode 32, which is a subterranean scene depicting the tragic end of a kangaroo tumbling into a pit trap while a snake watches, and there are some bats being startled, and there is, again, I don't know if you can see it on this zoomed out version, but there is another denizen in that cave towards the bottom, lurking in the water. These are all available as posters. These were made to be posters on our Zazzle store, but you can get them on shirts. You can get cropped versions on mugs and such. Do we want to bring us back?
Yeah, I can bring us. Hi.
There we are. So these were very, very fun to work with Rob to create. So huge thanks to Rob. This has been really exciting, and it's something special that we haven't done before. We haven't sort of gotten special art quite like this.
Yeah. It's very exciting. It's a level of art we've not dealt with, and it was a cool concept.
Yeah. Someone has asked, I'm answering questions as I see them, so
Yeah.
I know tons of people are commenting. Someone has asked, is there an episode on the Jehol biota? There is not. That would also be a cool poster. Fun fact, we decided to do the Hell Creek Formation in part to make the poster fit.
Yep, so it could be canon.
So it could be canon before the poster came out, because we knew that this was coming up. We have talked about doing more of these.
Yes, we have ideas.
We had at least one runner-up for each of the eras. Mm-hmm. So we have a Paleozoic, a Mesozoic, and a Cenozoic. And that will depend in part on how much people like these.
Yes.
If these sell really well, if people really get into it, then absolutely we might be able to do another series.
Yeah, and I love them. They're so much fun. Each one has something different that I like about it.
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of these.
Very cool. So they're so great. Rob did such a good job on these. It's been an absolute pleasure to work with Rob. But Rob is not the only artist who has contributed art that we will be adding to the Zazzle store. We also have an artist colleague, friend, big supporter of the podcast, Anna.
Yes.
Who has contributed some notably more cartoonish and lighthearted art that we're very excited about. Go ahead, and you can explain these.
Happily. So this is some art by my good friend Anna. And both of these were mainly inspired by us chatting about the podcast and everything. And she was inspired to doodle. And then each time the doodles came up and was like, oh, actually, could you finish those? And so
we ended up commissioning her to do some specific art for us.
So here on the right, we have me and David as old men in a theater booth, laughing and heckling something.
For copyright purposes, we are not Statler and Waldorf.
No, we would never be.
Davler and Waldorf.
Davler and Waldorf. And I love it so much.
It's awesome. Anna did such a good job.
I can't wait to get old so that I can look like this image. And then on the left, or on the right, I think I said the right the first time. Yeah, that's the other one.
We're describing this for anyone who's listening later or something, so they don't know. The people watching know that you made a mistake.
Yep. As always. We have a tombstone with R.I.P. Megalodon.
Yep. And then a cute picture of the shark.
Yep.
And then a birth and death.
With a yes, we're sure message at the end.
Yes, we're sure.
Because yes, we're sure.
Which is currently available as a sticker.
Yes.
So all of these are up now on the Zazzle store. So people can find them and purchase them. Let's bring us back onto the scene. So what I really like about this is that we've got some art that is common descent specific.
Yes.
Right. We've got the logo. It's a bit colorful. It's very simple.
Yep.
It's a simple overall image. We've got some serious paleo art with those posters. And then we've got some fun stuff. It's goofy, it's colorful, it's silly, and we're hoping that this will appeal to a broad range of our listeners.
I mean, I'm already a big fan of Old Man, so if you want to be as cool as me,
absolutely. Will's got the shirt right now, the official unveiling, and it looks good on that color. So this is a sort of a dark green, for the background. And the thing that's really nice about this that we can show off on the shirt is that the image itself, there's a gap between the two of them.
Transparent.
In the curtain. It's transparent. So the background color of the shirt goes behind the image, man, we know some really cool artists.
We know cool people
who are a lot of fun to work with. So absolutely, we are very excited to see how those do. Now we had talked about showing. Zazzle has a bunch of specific features and things. So we can go ahead and show off a little bit of how Zazzle looks. So right here up on the screen, we're bringing up our Zazzle page. This is specifically shirts because most of these logos are available. Most of this art is available as shirts. So do you want to walk us through?
Absolutely. So many people have bought from us before, so you all probably know this, but these are all currently up here. We have them as shirts. The prints are as posters as well. I've also put most of the things on mugs because mugs sell like crazy.
Yeah, mugs are great.
So all of our designs that we've shown before are up here, and I put them on various things, but something that I don't know if everyone is aware of with Zazzle, you can put this image, like when it shows the image, the reason it does that is because when you go to that product, you can put that image on anything you want. Stickers,
towels, mugs, excuse me, other stuff that I'm not thinking about.
Pillows, sheets, hats, basic
magnets,
cups, magnets, bottle openers, keychain. Like the variety of things is insane.
You can even crop the image and move it where you want. So like just because you see it on a shirt doesn't mean that's what you have to do.
Yeah, so like it gives you a lot of options on how you want the image to be. And so if anyone ever looks and goes, "Oh, I wish they didn't have the shirt in that color." So, oh yeah, well, you can change it. You can change the size. You can make it men's or women's. You can make it a sweater. So I try to put up a variety so that it's easy for people to select, but you can also change the variety instantly.
Yes.
And yeah, all of these new designs are already on multiple products for you to easily find.
Yeah, switch it back to us because I just remembered I have to open up a page that I forgot about. And also, so I'm looking at the comments and we've got just a bunch of people who seem to be really enjoying this. Milu says they're not literally up on Zazzle this second yet. They should be soon, and if they're not, then we have to double check it.
If you check the collections, there should be a tab at the top that says collections.
When we made it live, they weren't going up under new just yet. Yeah. It'd probably take a little while.
But it should show up in the collection section for shirts. All of Rob's art is in the Rob Art collection. And from there, you should be able to find most of them.
Yes. And then there was one other art-related thing. We had a lot of art announcements.
Yeah, we are very arty.
We're very excited to... Well, because it's very visual, and it's sort of a new medium for us to explore.
And we like it.
And we like it. We have commissioned artists to do this artwork for us. But we also sometimes just get art from our listeners. We'll get people on Twitter and Instagram and wherever else messaging us to say that something we talked about inspired them to do an art. And we love receiving those, and we have finally taken a step to celebrating that. There is now a fan art section on our blog. Go ahead and show it, and I will take people to it. If you go to the Common Ascent Podcast blog up here at the top, you'll see we have our normal About Us, our Contact Us, other projects, which is where we also have links to the other podcasts we've been on. But there is now a fan art page. And the fan art is just delightful. So this is some of the art that has stood out to us over the years. This upper section, and there is some stuff from Anna here. Yeah. Some of the earlier, concept art. Now the top part is general art, but then just the bulk of this is spooky art. Because we have gotten so much fan art of our spooky creatures, and it's great. It's
just one of the best things.
This, I think, was the first, this fish person bit. This, I think, was the first piece of art we ever received that made me, I gasped. Yeah. I love this so much.
Well, because that was the first moment, and we've talked about this before, where a lot of times we do not have a specific image in spooky of like, this is what the animal's like, because we're coming up with a kind of a broad, specific idea of what the creature is. But we're not going to get like, it is 5 feet long, it weighs, 45. We're not going to do quite that because we're still just making it up as we go. So we're not statting it out. So we often don't know what a spooky creature looks like until we get fan art of it.
Right. Then we get fan art and we go, oh, that's what it looks like.
That's obviously, there we go, right there. What else would it have looked like other than this? So, and that was the first one I remember it happening with, where I went, oh my goodness, there it is. There's also the thing that came from our brains.
This vampire shrew might be the worst thing.
It's
awful and
the fantastic. Little hairs. I love it.
So if you're a fan of the fan art, please check this out. And also, if your art is on here, if you are one of these artists, we have tried to credit people as much as possible. If you'd like to be credited in a different way, just reach out to us and let us know. If you have art and send it to us, we can't promise that every piece of art is going to make it onto this page. There's only so much we can do. But if you're an artist, we're not asking, right? We're not commissioning people to do...
We would never ask for free art.
But if you do art and you want to share it with us, if you happen to come up with something, please let us know. We love building our collection.
Yeah.
And indeed, the picture we posted online yesterday was us in front of our wall of art that we have received.
As a bulletin board, and put up a bunch of our favorite art, and we'll transition and update what goes up there from time to time.
Fantastic.
I'm so happy to finally have the fan art up, because really getting fan art, both spooky but just general fan art, that is not something I expected to happen.
Yeah.
When we started making this, I did not think that we would be a type of podcast that would inspire anything like that, which is fine. Like, wasn't...
Oh, sure.
I wasn't upset about that, but I was like, yeah, no, that's fine. And then we started getting fan art, and it was just blown away.
We've got
utterly blown away.
A lot of comments. Greg says, I need Common Descent themed spelunking equipment. I mean, that Naracourt image. Yes. There you go. Yep. Would an Anomalocaris pillow be amazing or give me nightmares? Your mileage may vary. Lydia says, Darwin Zool. Yes, our very first piece of fan art was a picture of Zool the Ankylosaur from Darwin, who at the time, if I remember right, was 5.
Yes.
I assume Darwin is now about 10, given the math.
That is a piece of art that has never left the bulletin.
That is up there.
It went up on the bulletin early, and I never take that one down. Everything else gets switched around it because that was our first.
And yes, as far as I know, that is Darwin's real name. I mean, it's a name. Yeah. Like, Darwin is a name. It's a name of a place in Australia. It's a last name. It's a first name. So absolutely, we are so excited to show off this art from our incredible community of artists, of our professional artist friends.
Yes.
And then, the people who have submitted this stuff. This is great.
It makes my heart warm. Like, the fan art it makes me so happy.
One other thing, so speaking of community, and one of the things that we've wanted to do over the years is build our community and sort of create space where our community can interact and grow. And we have social media, and we have people who interact and follow us on there. We have Patreon, obviously. We've been doing live streams recently with our patrons, which is a great place for community engagement. Absolutely great. We are taking a new step. Yep. Today, officially, we are launching a new step in the direction of
See, that's the stuff we would edit out.
That's the stuff you don't hear. This is the behind the scenes.
See, video makes it harder.
All the coughs and stuff that normally we would leave out. We are officially announcing today a Common Descent Discord server. We've had a number of people ask about this. People like Discord. We are not big Discord users.
No, I did not get it for the longest time. Like, I didn't get what it was supposed to do for so very long. So it was a foreign concept to me.
Absolutely. But people were excited about getting a Discord, and we have your brother stepped up to help create a Discord, and we have selected a couple of moderators from our most devoted fans. We have a Discord.
Yes.
Gnarls Bardley there in the comments. That is one of our moderators. So here is the link. I just put the link in the YouTube comments. So if you are a Discord person, feel free to head over to Discord. We have a bunch of different channels set up for general discussion, episode discussions. We have an art section.
Yep, I was about to say, someone asked just a little bit ago
where to send.
Yeah, Quinflove.
Apologies. Where to send it.
Where to send it, yeah. We have a section for that, but also just if you email us or tag us in any of the social medias.
Jennifer has kindly put the email in the chat.
Right there.
But yeah, social medias, anywhere like that. We're on Facebook, Instagram, on the Twitter. Any way you can get in touch with us. So Greg says Discord is where Baskin Coil's full backstories will be fleshed out.
Yeah.
Well, when we do... Oh, man. So we've talked about we'll do Discord chats with the people who are in there. There's the opportunity to do watching stuff together, playing games together. But also, I hadn't thought about this. We should just have nights where you and I write the story of Baskin Coil.
Yeah, we can be in character on Discord.
So if you like Discord, if you want to join Discord, Mila says, I will join Discord for this. Absolutely. They are flooding in, says Dylan. Excellent. Please join.
Cool.
We do not Discord very much, the two of us. So we and our moderators are on hand to hear your feedback and look for ways to expand and improve and augment this Discord experience.
We're going to be trying to learn how to engage in a way that is meaningful, but it is not our second natures.
And it's something that we want to bring a community together. We have so many amazing people who listen and who are scientists and who are science enthusiasts and who are artists and all these different people who are mostly separate. Yes. And we're hoping that this is going to be one place where we can bring those communities together. And then every now and then we'll pop in and you can bombard us with questions and stuff. In fact, in celebration of the launch of this Discord, we will be hosting a Discord Q&A, text most likely, just a text chat. But Will and I will be available for probably at least an hour for a Q&A with our new Discord members this coming Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So that is Thursday, the February the something, at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We will be doing a Q&A in Discord. We'll post reminders about that on the social medias and in the Discord itself as a way to sort of get people welcomed and get everything started.
And, get us to start learning how to do it.
Yeah. And we've got, oh my goodness. All right, so first of all, Melissa said, will there be listening parties where we can engage in real time as we listen to each episode? That's a great question. Dylan, let us know if we can do that.
Yeah.
Also, Melissa suggested a fan fiction section. Ooh. These are dangerous. Ooh. We are... Oh my
Slippery
goodness.
Slope.
That is... We're going to stop doing the podcast and just start writing fan fiction about ourselves. Bask and Coil are my OTP.
Yes.
Oh, man. So, very excited about all the art, very excited about Zazzle, very excited about Discord. We are hoping that these are things that people will engage with. There is one other thing that we want to announce before we wrap up the announcement section. We have some things planned for later in the year. Mm-hmm. We are going to continue to, or we're going to do Discord stuff. We're going to keep doing Patreon special stuff. There will be the usual things. There will be Spooky in October. We have some thoughts about Spooky might be something 5-year special.
And then there are a couple of other more normal themes that have been
percolating
to the top.
We'll see. We have some time to plan for Spooky, so Spooky may or may not be a 5-year thing. There will be at least one episode of Silver Screen Science this year because Jurassic World Dominion comes out in the summer, and we're sure to have lots to say. But there is one other thing that we're planning to do for this year that is going to be a little different.
Yes.
Something new, maybe just this year, maybe in the future. Some of you may know that if you look at the calendar, all throughout the year, there are these often conservation-themed days.
Yes.
Right? There's a World Rhino Day and a World Elephant Day, and there's International Red Panda Day, and there's Tiger Day, and all sorts of animals have days. Well, as it turns out, June 17th is World Croc Day, and July 16th is World Snake Day. Mm-hmm. So, this year, we are officially declaring that June and July of 2022 are going to be Common Descent's Croc Month and Snake Month.
Because they need more than a day.
Because they need more than a day, and more than a week, because they're better than sharks.
Absolutely.
Croc Month in June, Snake Month in July. We have a handful of ideas of what we want to do to celebrate that. We might do some social media things. We might do some things during the episodes. Yep. We might... I had some other ideas. Patreon stuff. Our live streams. We've been thinking about the different places where we might put in this sort of theme, and we are planning to also do at least a couple bits of extra content.
Yeah, there will definitely be bonus something.
Bonus stuff. So we're still figuring out exactly what those months are going to look like. We've got a while to plan. We are, as always, open to suggestions from you, but we are looking forward to dedicating a month each to the best animals in the world, and also crocs. So I'm just going to talk over you.
Right?
So
I was going to say, we're going to do that poll again.
So if you have thoughts about what you think would make for a cool Croc Month and Snake Month, let us know. We are still in the planning phases of that, and we're excited to make that happen. We've got a bunch of people chiming in. Yes, Dylan, they are better than sharks. So sorry. Listen, maybe we'll make a shark. I think Shark Day is also in one of those months. I looked it up. I think Shark Day is also in June or July.
That's
and also right. Shark Week, which isn't like a conservation specific thing. That's a Discovery doing nonsense thing.
It's a disinformation campaign.
But I honestly don't know when Shark Week is because I don't pay attention to Shark
I haven't
Week.
followed in a long time.
Oh man, Markler is reminding people in chat to hit the like button. Helps visibility of the stream. Thank you very much. Fantastic. So yeah, we've got some exciting stuff that we have done.
Yes.
We've got some exciting stuff that is available right now. And we've got some exciting stuff we're planning to do. And we might think of more. We might come up with more 5-year anniversary stuff throughout the year.
There have been a number of things that we've been talking about. We just haven't settled on for sure everything.
And we don't want to saturate the year.
No.
You know, not every week's not going to be a 5-year celebration.
we don't want to make this the best year that's ever happened and then
right. Year 6 is going to be, I guess year 7. But we're going to do some themed stuff throughout the year. We're excited, looking forward. And as we mentioned earlier, there are some things that we're still looking into. There are some things on our wish list. We want to do more video content. We want to do, we've talked about doing streaming more often. We've talked about streaming games and stuff. That's something we'd love to be able to do if we can figure out how and when to do it.
Yes.
I've got a video game to play. My goodness, this is keeping me from it as we speak. I've got video games to play. And we've got other plans in the works. And one of the things that's been really exciting is in the last several months, the podcast family has grown a bit. We've got Corey and Dylan and Rebecca on the Discord helping us out with that. We've had Anna and Rob contributing artwork. We've had Allie, who is now a recurring guest. Allie's coming up again soon. Jennifer's been helping us out with, so far, data management.
Yeah, a bunch of our infrastructure.
And then other things. The podcast is growing, and we are finally taking advantage, but we are finally making the best use of the fact that we have all these people who want the podcast to succeed.
Some really amazing support.
Absolutely.
It's getting to where now it's allowing us to do stuff we couldn't do before.
Yes. So thank you to everyone who is contributing. Thank you to everybody who professionally has helped us. Mm-hmm. Thank you to all of our patrons who are a professional support. That is financial support as well as moral support. Thank you to all of our listeners. Thank you to everyone who is watching this stream. We really appreciate you tuning in and listening in and asking questions and telling us how you feel and your stories and such. I'm being told that there are now about 70 people in this live stream. That's great. That's incredible for us.
That's awesome.
And you know what? While we're here, thanks, Will.
Oh,
for making this podcast happen for 5 years with me.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Hey, yeah. I pitched this idea in 2016, I assume, at the end of 2016.
Yeah.
And yeah, it has really come together.
No, it
was
was
really fun.
It's been a lot of fun, and it's been a joy to get to do it with you. This was very much David's initial brainchild. And I remember when you first suggested, I was like, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Sure, podcast, that's a thing.
But then as you described it more, I got excited and was like, actually, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it's been a blast. So it has been a pleasure to get to do this.
Yeah, it's been great. And with that, that is the end of our 5-year anniversary announcements. But we know that we have an audience on here that wants to interact with us.
Yes.
So we'll hang out. We're going to hang out for a bit. In fact, I did want to... again, I'm not going to go through all these. There are so many. JT says best reptile, Snockodile versus Crake. Amazing. Fantastic. July 14th is Shark Day. Thank you, Alexandra. And then someone else also... Yes, there is a specific Whale Shark Day. Yes. I did know that.
Yeah.
There is August 30th, Whale Shark Day. Fantastic. Legends Arceus. Yes, Dylan, that is the game that I got to get all this stuff done and then I can play Pokemon. So yeah, everyone feel free to stick around, chat with us, chat with each other, ask questions. We will hang out. If I had to guess, we'll probably hang out for another hour or so because we like chatting with our listeners.
Like I said, answering questions.
We love it. Derek says 30 people in the Discord already.
Aw, cool.
Amazing.
That's cool.
Cheryl says any more miniseries interviewing scientists like Spotlight. We do want to do more stuff like that in the future. Spotlight or live chat.
Or some other version of that idea.
Yep. The big trouble that we have is that we want to do so many things and we can only do so much. So support us on Patreon and buy our stuff on Zazzle. And if we are financially stable enough, eventually we will be able to just do this full time, which would be great. And then we can do all those extra things that we want to do.
Oh, so happily.
Man. Dylan says, oh, I missed it. It's gone. Well, all right. Can confirm he was giddy the days before the first recording. You were down in Florida back then.
Yep. We were a country apart at that point, north and south.
Martin says, have you guys seen Trevor Valley lately? We have not.
No, we haven't gotten to connect with him, really.
We haven't been to Dragon Con in
That's been a big part of it
now, I think.
Yeah.
Because 2020, 2021. We did go in 2019.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's only been 2 that we've missed.
Right.
If things are, hopefully this will not be 3 this year that we've missed.
Yeah, we haven't seen Trevor. We're not close with, we're not really in constant contact with Trevor. We've had a great time doing stuff with him at Dragon Con. And I know that he's been having some troubles lately.
Yeah.
He's been having some medical issues. But, I mean, we follow each other on Twitter, and he's always posting awesome D&D stuff and his cool new dice that he's got. So I hope he's doing well. Absolutely. Oh my goodness, we have so many people that love us. Kaluna says, gotta go. Thanks for this. Happy 5th anniversary. Thank you, Kaluna.
Yeah, thank you for showing up.
Great. Oh man, there are a bunch of requests coming in. We will go through this and we will add all the requests.
Yep. Luckily, we usually it saves the chat.
Larissa says, do you know which countries people are listening in? We do. Podbean tracks that for us. I haven't looked recently, but historically our top countries tend to be the US, Canada, Australia, and I think the UK. Yep. So the major English-speaking countries, which isn't surprising. I think Brazil is also one of our top countries usually, which is really exciting. But at this point, I think we have registered downloads in just about every country in the world. Yeah, we have listeners. We have heard specifically from listeners in New Zealand and in all across South America, like Colombian, Sweden, all across Europe. So absolutely, Africa. Recently we had someone who talked to us from Africa. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, we have listeners all over the world, which is so cool.
Which is that floors me. That's amazing.
It's fantastic, and it really brings another dimension to the podcast because people tend to suggest things that are interesting to them.
Yes.
And so we'll get people who are like, hey, I'm from India. Can you do an episode about India?
Yep.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Or, sharing news. People will be like, hey, near my house, I live in South Africa, and here's this discovery that was found recently. And that's super cool.
Well, it also affects the way we record because early on, you just, accidentally, subconsciously would say things like, well, here things are, blah, 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 or we talk about something. And then early on, I remember we got a message that said, I assume you meant North America when you were discussing this thing, because that's not what it's like here. And it's like, oh, that's absolutely what we meant. We were just assuming, because typically everyone we're talking to is from North America when we're doing tours.
Oh yeah, and basically almost any professional thing you've ever done.
Yep.
And almost all of the professional things I've ever done have been in North America.
Yep. And so we had people would be like, did you mean North America? And so it's gotten to where now we specify. We'll be like, here in North America where we are, it's like this. And that's something I wouldn't have thought about until we found out we had people from all over the world.
Cayman Sora says, do you guys know how long the stream will go on for? Honestly, no. Maybe another hour?
Yeah.
Something like that? Oh, man. There are so many questions. So many good stuff. I'm trying to go way back up. People are excited to hang out with us. People are joining the Discord.
We've got a few people who have mentioned where they're from. We have France and Mediterranean.
Milu's from France. I think I saw Netherlands. There we go. Griffin. Absolutely. There was another one just a little bit up here. Is there a specific content of speculative evolution fiction you think is really cool? Yeah, I mean, I don't actually dive very deep into like literature of specifically speculative evolution. For me, most of my experience is in just, fiction stuff that happens to also create, Avatar, I think was probably Avatar the movie. Although Avatar the Last Airbender also has some of its own speculative biology. But Avatar the movie, I think, was the first time I was ever watching a thing and going, finding myself wondering about the phylogeny and the evolutionary history and the ecology of this ecosystem.
The actual functioning science of this sci-fi world. I think one of my favorite versions of it is...
Oh, that's actually... I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but that's actually a good point. I'm seeing people comment. This live stream will still be up on YouTube.
Yes.
Afterwards. So if you miss part of it, you will be able to watch it as the recording of it.
Yep.
And assuming that the audio turns out okay, we will also probably release this as an audio for the podcast.
Yeah.
So, cool. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think people are wondering about that.
It's a good question, and probably something we should have said.
Probably something we should have said.
But,
eventually we'll get the hang of doing this podcast. Someday.
Another 5 years, it's going to be so polished.
We'll have it.
One of my favorite versions of speculative evolution type stuff is where it's actually the retroactive, where here's a creature, and now... like someone made up a creature for Star Wars or a fantasy thing. No thought into its actual biological,
this
ecological.
Would be a cool creature.
It looks cool. It was here to do this job in the world. And then somewhere down the line later, someone's like, yeah, but I'd like to show what, rancors look like in their natural habitat and in their day-to-day life. I really like that. I like because the reason I like that is it's what we have to do with fossils so often.
Mm-hmm.
Here's this thing. It's this shape. That's the info you have.
Yeah.
It looks like this. It lived in this environment. And so we have to go, okay, so how could you use that thing that's on your face?
Right.
What could that be doing? What purposes could that have that's helping you survive? And so I like taking, old creatures from sci-fi and fantasy and things like that in video games and saying... how would you actually function if you're a creature? Based off of your anatomy that was given to you willy-nilly, how would you actually function? I love that.
And that's what we do on the podcast, because we really like that. That's what Spooky is it's taking an endpoint and making up an origin for it, which we really appreciate that.
Well, and I think part of the reason that I like that so much and why it works so much better for Spooky is going the other way of saying, okay, what if a rabbit, but in, 12 million years on this kind of situation? There's lots of cool stuff to do with that, but it's almost infinite. Mm-hmm. Like
it's very open-ended.
There's so many. The rabbit could get big, it could get small, it could get more furry, it could get less furry, it could become a predator. Who knows what it could do, because there's so many options. The other one has a very clear... you're working with this. And I like that.
Habib says, are you considering visiting some other countries and meeting your fans there?
We have talked about taking trips.
Yeah, that would be super cool.
Don't have plans for it as of yet, but we have talked about finding a reason and finding something to do to go to other countries.
And it'd be great to meet people. We have met a number of fans who have come to visit us.
Yes.
Not us specifically, but we've had fans who tell us they're going to the Great Fossil Site. And we've gotten the chance to meet fans and show them around the Great Fossil Site. We'd love to go to other places. We have open invitations from a lot of people who are like, I work at this museum. If you come by, come say hi. So yeah, at some point, probably not soon, because travel is inadvisable.
A bit more involved.
Tricky. But we'd love to go traveling. We've talked about the idea of doing live shows, in-person stuff. We've done that at Dragon Con. We've done live panels, but we've talked about the idea of doing that in other contexts. That would be super cool.
Yeah.
That would be so much fun. Yeah, lots of people are, like you said, saying where they're from. Germany. I saw, other stuff. What are your favorite extinct creatures named after mythological or historical figures? Zelantophus is a snake that was named after a mythical winged serpent in Eastern European mythology. It's a pretty cool animal, I think.
Researchers are all right. They're decent folk.
We've got there's a lot of spec evolution discussion happening, and a lot of it is Star Wars themed.
Hey.
We've Lydia like a mudhorn on a desert planet.
Right.
Renee, Sarlacc versus Shai Hulud. I don't know what that is.
Oh, I do recognize that, but
Is that a Star Wars thing?
Ooh.
I don't know. Renee, you're going to have to tell us what that is.
Yeah, I'm blanking. I recognize that name, but I'm...
I'd love to see a predatory rabbit, says Q. I'm gonna say Q. I don't want to, if I'm saying your name wrong, I don't want to keep saying it wrong. That I think there have been predatory lagomorphs.
Well, and there's definitely videos that you can find of
that's true.
Rabbits today and like hares taking down birds and taking down rodents. There's a really great video of one that takes a bird as it takes off. They goes toward it and the bird takes off and it leaps, grabs it, and flips around and starts eating the bird.
Dune, apparently, is what that is
okay,
from.
Yep.
The sandworms.
That's why I recognized it. It was in there, but I did not.
Also, I assume that this is a response to the mythological one, but Rob says Zool! And also, that's Rob! Yes. Hey, Rob! I don't know if you just joined us, but we were showing off your art and people were freaking out about it. It's so cool. All that stuff is officially up on the Zazzle store now. Yeah. We're going to be replacing our social media profile pictures with the new logo coming up very soon. So that's Rob. Everybody say hi to Rob and give some claps. I don't know, claps in the chat for Rob. I don't know what people say. We'll figure it out. But that's super cool, and we're going to be posting about it on social media this week. So we will be advertising that.
And as far as Sarlacc and the dune worms are mobile. So I think they probably got major
niche partitioning.
Yeah,
they don't have to compete,
but they can adapt and change what they're doing. The Sarlacc's pretty stationary.
Derek says SVP 2022 in Toronto. Is that where SVP 2022 is?
Oh,
that sounds achievable.
Yeah,
that's not too bad. That'd be pretty cool. Rob says yay. Hey Rob. Yes, love for Rob in the chat. That would be great.
Yes.
People are saying. Night of the Lepus, says Daytona.
There you go.
There's your predatory rabbits. One of the things that would be kind of, and we've talked about doing this, is Discord might be an outlet for this, but there are other possibilities of just having a blast with those.
I would love to.
What was the island of the killer shrews or something?
Yeah, there's definitely a shrew one where it's
dogs. That's why I remember, because I've seen clips of the island of the giant killer shrews, something like that, where it's very obviously dogs in costumes, and it's very funny. I love any time. So dogs in movies are always fun. It's always fun to see a dog in a movie. But I love when a dog is used as like a scary creature in a movie, either because the dog's supposed to be intimidating or it's dressed up as something scary, and there'll be this like scary or surprising or whatever scene it is with this dog, and I can't help but think that is the happiest dog. Yep. Like that dog's favorite people are just off camera cheering him on. He's getting a bunch of treats after this. That's such a happy animal.
It's the story I've heard about having to edit out wagging tails in movies. When it's supposed to be like a pack of wolves. And they will have to be like, all right, make the tails stand still with computers because these are very happy dogs.
Oh, hey, lots of Rob love.
Yeah.
JT says, what does Nidoran eat? Puffins and Pokemon food.
I was going to say, Pokechow.
I would love a explanation that poison-type Pokemon are eating toxic plants and bugs and stuff.
Or eating other poison types.
That's what gives them their... Yeah. I don't think that's ever been...
Worked into
Pokemon, that a poison-type Pokemon is picking up its toxins from... like its diet, which is very common in real-life animals.
That a human-raised Pokemon, poison-type Pokemon would not be toxic.
If you move it to a different... Oh, that would be a cool regional form of a poison type that isn't poisonous on this island because its food isn't there. That's what happens to Rabdophis.
Yep.
The killback snakes.
Well, and that's poison dart frogs. Like you can keep and handle poison dart frogs if you don't feed them the ants that they get their toxins from.
Ooh,
They're not deadly.
Well, and Rhabdophis, the keelback snakes, eat toads, but on islands where those toads don't exist, they're not toxic. They're not poisonous, which is
really
very
cool.
And I do mean poisonous. Those are poisonous snakes. Oh man, lots of excitement.
I saw one person
Sure.
that asked about the video, going down the rabbit hole of videos on YouTube with benign animals eating other animals. Yes, all the time. Those are some of my favorite videos. That is my morbid side. I love cute things doing horrifying stuff.
Rebecca's in the chat. Hey, Rebecca. How's it going? You will notice that the Discord is being flooded with people, we're told. Very exciting. People are now asking what about the dune worms versus graboids?
And I like that
Tremors.
They said, let's make them pack hunters, because, yeah, the dune worms are like a number of magnitudes larger than a graboid. So those dune worms are ridiculous. There's not much that I can think of. Like, that's like asking what can take down a full-sized blue whale.
Yeah.
Not really anything. Like it's just too big.
Marklar says, I wonder what a Pokemon ROM hack by paleontologists would look like. Ooh, probably not great because they're not game designers. But in the spirit of the question, it'd be awesome.
I'd get rid of all the most recent fossil Pokemon.
Well, you're not.
Or I'd at least fix them. I'd finish that storyline so that you have a moment where a good researcher comes by and is like, no, come to my lab and we will fix your Pokemon. And then you get 2 fossil Pokemon of what other 2 halves you found.
Replace them with fossil Pokemon that are actually based on historical
mistakes
and
instead
such.
of just random mistakes that you made up.
I have thoughts. I have so many. There would be so many cool ideas. Also, there would be actual like taxonomy. There would be phylogenetic relationships between the Pokemon.
Yes.
That you would see where they all group. That would be pretty cool.
Yep, absolutely. There would be a reasoning for types and an evolutionary explanation.
There seems to be a discussion going on now of a shark remora
with the graboids,
and the dune worms.
Absolutely.
That would be a lot of fun.
Yes. Oh man, they'd have like flocks of the various life stages of graboids that just follow these worms around.
Karmic says, Karmic Pear, did you see the video of the orcas hunting and killing an adult blue whale? Yes. I had. That was going around a while ago. Yeah. Oh man, saber-toothed shark that evolves to kill blue whales? Question mark? It could happen. Oh man. See, this is the kind of discussion that we're excited to see the Discord happen.
Yes.
Discord, social media. Oh man. Taran says, thank you guys. This podcast has been amazing. The show has been one of the sources of entertainment that helped me the absolute most during the past 2 years.
I'm really glad we could help.
Thank you for saying so. That's really... We get a lot of nice comments from people.
It's really nice.
We've gotten, like we mentioned before, we've gotten some nice presents recently.
Yeah.
Since we created a physical mailing address, we've gotten it. People, it's in the beginning, in the early days, we used to say it's nice just to know people are listening.
Yes. Man, what fools we were.
Now that we know people are actually, really enjoying it and really getting excited and being, getting emotional about it. That's really cool.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so humbling when comments come in about the effect that the podcast has for different individuals, and it's so happy to hear it, and so happy we can have a positive effect on your day-to-day lives.
One of the things that I want to try to do, and I think I'll make these posts, is this week especially, since this is our 5-year week, encouraging people to share their stories. What's your favorite episode? How did you learn about the podcast? What's your favorite dumb joke we've told? Hearing about, because we know our stuff.
Yep.
Right? We have memories of this is the first episode request that we got. This is the first episode that we ever did that was a requested episode. This is the first episode where we had a guest on, and we remember the specific circumstances surrounding certain events, or like a joke that we remember, or when a certain running bit started and became popular. But we want to know what the experience is for our listeners. You know, what are your favorite jokes? What are your favorite episodes and topics? We'd love to see what is the listener experience like, because we don't know.
And you absolutely have a vastly different and better memory of our jokes and our little things in the podcast, because there's so many where people would be like, when you made this joke, it's like, I have no clue when we made that joke.
Yep.
No, I barely have a memory. It sounds like a thing we'd say.
I bet it was funny.
It was clever, so I bet it sounds like us.
I bet we're real funny guys. Someone has pointed out the Discord is not on the website. That's true. We will put the Discord link on the website.
Yeah, that'll all be updated soon.
Melissa says, I think about that Neanderthal string news at least once a day.
That was so cool. That one I do remember.
Someone pointed out, I already told you about this. Someone on our Twitter pointed out. So in the Volcanoes episode, 131, the last episode we released, we talked for a bit about the Tonga volcanic eruption from last month. Well, this month, I guess. That was all in the news, and we did a whole news section about it. And then someone on Twitter pointed out that we talked about that volcano in episode 55, because we mentioned in the news that the last big eruption of that volcano created new islands.
Yep.
And there was a news bit back in 2018, I guess, about the life that had inhabited those new islands that you did for that episode. And so someone on Twitter was like, oh man, I remember you guys talking about that on episode 55. And I went, we did?
Huh.
Well, how about that?
Planned it all along.
Just like we planned. Oh my goodness, there's so many. Now people are saying nice things about us.
I saw Fiona asked about Dinosauria by Dead Sound on YouTube. And yes, I have watched a number of theirs. I really like their videos.
Is that the new series, the documentary style series?
Yeah.
The one that had the Arctic episode. Yes. Okay, I've seen those around. I haven't watched those yet. I've been meaning to.
That YouTuber does a bunch of. They have very stylistic style, of high contrast and no outlines art style that I really like. And they've done a number of dinosaur ones before, but they also do a whole bunch of dystopian future type setting stuff that are really cool, like little vignettes that I very much like.
Jay says, from the first episode, I knew I would love it because David made multiple references to see episode number X, and every single reference sounded fascinating. Taran says, Ichthyosaur is the only episode I've ever requested, and it was worth it. That episode was so much fun.
Yeah,
episode 97, just like we promised.
Since the beginning.
116. Lydia says, my favorite thing is when I laugh or ask a question at the same time as one of you. I feel less like a solo nerd and more like I found my people. We've talked about how that'll happen to us when we're re-listening or editing. Yes. Or Will will make a comment and I'll be listening and say out loud my response at the same time that I do. At least I'm consistent.
I was going to say, whenever it happens to me during editing and I'll have a comment that I would make and I make the comment, I go, okay, good.
Yeah, good, I was on it.
Because I've had the opposite happen where I'm listening and you say something and I think of something and then I don't say anything on the recording. I go, I'm cleverer today than I was yesterday.
Professor Ryan says, just got on, but thank you guys for providing paleontology in both an entertaining and educational format. It makes me more exciting to learn more news from the science.
Thank you.
Thank you. And also a reminder that this will be up on YouTube. You can watch this again later. So and you can listen to the audio, which we will probably release. We lost it. Crawl On says, I found ye through a post on a subreddit. Oh. Someone seemed to like you and simply wanted to share the podcast with the community. For a while, I was checking to see how often we showed up on Reddit, and I haven't in a long time. I used to post our episodes on Reddit every now and then, in like the Paleontology subreddit. Every now and then, some people will recommend us on there. That's awesome. I'm glad that people are being sent our way there. Milu says, I was listening to the Rainforest Collapse episode 95, and I cracked up every time one of you mentioned Gondwana, and Allie would go best continent.
No biases.
Thoughts on Primal? What is primal?
Oh, I
Which
do.
one's primal? I've heard of primal.
Yep.
It's not primeval, which is what comes to mind first.
Well, and the issue is that there's also a crocodile movie called Primal, if I remember right.
Oh yeah, there is.
And so I have to remember which primal that is. Brain farts occurring. So if you have more details, let us know.
Yeah, tell us what primal is.
Help us out.
Mark Lar, Mothlight Media is my second favorite paleo YouTube channel. Yeah, check out other paleo. That's awesome. We love knowing that other people are doing cool stuff too. Renee says, your aesthetic is, look at this awesome thing I just learned. Yes. And it is so much fun.
Well, that was very much the core of kind of why we started the podcast, and when we started it, what we really wanted to get across is I always go back to a story I have that culminated in my realization of that mentality, which was I was at my grandmother's just spending time there, and she had gone to bed, and I was staying up and just had the TV on and just watching, I don't know, 1, 2 in the morning or something like that, and was on PBS, if I remember right. And a documentary came up about ducks, waterfowl. And they went all over the world to different members of that group, living different lifestyles. Ones who lived in fast water and slow water. Ones who got fish and ate plants. And I just the entire time was like a whole hour-long documentary special on ducks. Just nothing other than ducks. And that's where it really clicked for me of like every single group of animals could get this treatment with very little difficulty if you got the right people behind the writer's chair and behind the camera to know what to talk about. And that's very much how we approach things. It's like, yeah, everything's fascinating if you're willing to look at it the right way.
Well, and the other thing that we wanted to do, and I remember having this discussion before we started, is wanting to bring the same energy that you get when you just have a group of friends who are scientists hanging out. That when you hear science delivered to the public, so often, and not always, there are some really great science communicators out there that do different things. But a lot of the time it is very lecture style. And even when it's a great lecture.
Yeah, when it's done very well and in an entertaining way.
It's often very, here are the facts, and sometimes it's very dry, and it's very much a expert talking to people who don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's always presented a little bit like a textbook.
Right.
Which makes sense, which is a good way to present information.
But if you go to a conference or if you're in an academic department at a university, a lot of the times you hear these conversations that happen in the hallways or in the offices, and it's just people chatting about science, and they're speaking at the same technical level.
Yes.
It's the same jargon, and it's the same esoteric science stuff.
And level of detail.
But it's just friends chatting and having a good time.
And making jokes. Being
amused and fascinated by the information they're discussing. And that was part of what we wanted to bring to this podcast is say, yeah, that here it is often people just having fun talking about cool science.
Just geeking out.
Just geeking out about the stuff that they happen to be experts in. And that was part of the energy we wanted to bring to the podcast is, can we discuss science in a way that is intelligible, right? Understandable to a general audience, but still thorough and technical enough that we're talking at a detailed expert level, but having fun at the same time, enjoying each other's company and enjoying the science. People are pointing out Primal is the
Gendy Tartakovsky.
That's the one.
Who did Samurai Jack.
Yes.
And yes, I have watched it. I forgot that was the name. I'm a huge Samurai Jack fan. I love the art style, love the storytelling style of that, and I had a lot of fun with Primal. It's super weird. It's bizarre, and there are a couple of parts of it that are just borderline trippy. But I had fun with it. If they ever make more of it, I'll watch it.
Milu says the segue jokes are a hilarious gimmick. I'm glad someone thinks so, because every now and then, like, a lot of the jokes... See, part of that aesthetic of it's just a couple of friends hanging out is that, for the most part, the jokes are for us.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we make jokes under the assumption that someone else will probably like that.
Like when I make a segue, I don't tell David what it is before I do it.
No, those are not planned.
Because I want to see him roll his eyes or
so
scoff at it.
It's just us making jokes for each other. We mentioned this, I think, on one of the Patreon streams, that we got a comment once somewhere. I forget what it was. And it was someone who was saying they liked the podcast, but it was like, quit it with the fake laughing.
Yeah,
right?
the forced laughter.
The forced laughter.
Yeah.
It's like, I got bad news for you. we really think we are that funny.
We are legitimately entertained by ourselves. It's a serious condition.
Melissa says 2020 Dragon Con Science Track Discord was lit. Oh yeah, they did do a Discord.
Yeah, so we didn't get to go in person, but we did get to participate.
Yes.
Because no one went in person, so that one was...
Right, that was when we did our Dragon Con movie monsterification video, which is up on our channel, by the way.
That
YouTube.
was so much fun.
Also, welcome to YouTube, I guess, for anyone who doesn't know that we do YouTube stuff. We do YouTube stuff.
Yeah, you can find other videos here of
not
other
often.
stuff.
Dylan says, segue jokes in quotation marks. I resemble that remark.
That made me think. And you brought this on to everyone, Dylan, for saying that.
Yep.
I used to have a running joke with my friends in like high school and college that I wanted to make a superhero called Segway Man, which was a person on a Segway with a cape who would just segue into people's conversations with a segue off of whatever they just recently said, and then segue away to someone else's conversation. And so someone would be talking and be like, oh, I crossed the bridge, and be like, speaking of bridges, did you know?
There was something recently. Oh man, I don't remember what this was. Someone, either in real life or in a video or something. Do you know where I'm going with this?
Dream. No,
or a dream.
I don't know.
Someone said, would you like to know an interesting fact about bridges? And it was like a joke. And I went, I actually do have an interesting fact about a bridge. I don't remember when that happened.
Yeah, well, I referenced the Family Guy when we were hanging out with you at one point. You're like, I actually do.
Oh, I do. I actually do. Have
Would anyone like to hear a good joke, a good story about a bridge?
I do have a good story about a bridge. It's an historical story about the outer bridge crossing. Quenflova says, I also wanted to say that I was looking for sci-fi books to read, and I was brought to your episode on Triffids, and now I'm hooked on you guys.
Oh.
That's awesome, because that tells us that people are getting brought in by the side stuff, which is one of the things we kind of hoped that would happen, is that Spooky and Silver Screen Science are bringing people to the main stuff, which so good. Fiona also loves the segue jokes. Good. But we're going to keep doing them until we start forgetting to do them, and then we'll do something else. There are a bunch of jokes that every now and then someone will reference, like a listener will reference, oh, I like when you make this joke, or I'll listen to an old episode and go, oh yeah, we did used to make that. That was a thing we made. We made that joke for about a year, and then we dropped it because we forgot.
Yep. It's just, if one or two episodes go in between us making it.
Renee says groups of friends always have in-jokes, so there's your authenticity.
Yes.
Yeah. Jay says, okay, who's doing the fan art on Segway Man? See, this is this. Does Segway Man
whole page for it
ride a Segway?
Yes, no, that's what I was saying. He
okay,
segues in. That's the whole point.
I was reading, so I'm only getting a little bit.
He rides a Segway into conversations where he segues.
That's awesome.
Segway Man away!
Oh, man. Speaking of segues, says Martin, what are your favorite books of all time? Fantastic. We are among our people.
Dracula.
Dracula's real good.
That's way up at the top of my list. This is one of my favorite novels I've ever read.
Favorite books of all time? Oh, man. I think at one point I had a favorite book of all time. At one point, Sphere was probably my favorite book. I read it again recently. I don't know if it's still my favorite, but I do like it.
A favorite series I had that I'm sure I've probably mentioned before was called, each book has a different name, so it doesn't have like a single series name, but the first one was March Up Country, and it's by David something. Sure. It's a March Up Country series, which is a crew of people crash land on an alien planet and have to make their way, march across the planet to get to the one spaceport on the planet, and they go through the various environments and they encounter the people of that planet and various wildlife, and they basically build up an army of the native people there that end up allying with them, and it's Tons of fun. Lots of cool sci-fi. Goes into the technology and the culture and stuff. I like stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm a big into the a well fleshed out sci-fi world.
I recently read through oh goodness, I can't remember the name of it. Oh no, the mechanical. It's a book series about robots, and they're like alchemists. They're alchemical robots. I can't remember the name of it. It'll come to me, or someone in the comments will recognize the book series I'm talking about. But it's an alternate history series where the Netherlands, I believe it was, hits upon alchemical magic, and they create an army of robots, and they take over the world, basically. But like not like in like a very historical way, like they create a vast empire, and that was really cool.
I mean, you told me about that one. It sounded really
and Jennifer was recommending it to me, and she was like, "I think you'd like this book." And I'd be like, "Okay." She'd say, "It's an alternate history where instead of a British Empire, it was a Dutch Empire." And I said, "All right." And she said, "And like France has moved to Canada, and there's still these tensions between them." And I said, "Okay." And the main character is a robot, and I went, "There it is." I was like, "All right, now I know why you're recommending this to me."
I saw Mark Laura asked if we'd heard about the Icelandic version of Dracula, where it was a person given the job of translating Dracula, basically just rewrote it while they translated it. And yes, I've listened to that audiobook. It's very similar. Like, it's not huge, but it's fun. That was also where I found out that there are companion literature pieces that Bram Stoker also wrote that are in the same shared universe as Dracula. Like, there's another more detailed story of I just blanked. John.
Oh yeah, the guy.
Yeah, getting there.
Sure. Man, we got no names right now.
And there's
someone in the comments tell us the name of the character.
And there's a couple others of those. So I've read every bit of Dracula thing I could find, and it's fun. That's pretty cool.
Brendan says the joke with the cephalopods and arachnids shaking hand and neither running out was great.
This has never happened before.
Rob says, I'll never forget when you two were saying hello to each other, and then David said, "Hello, listeners," and then quietly, "Why don't they answer?"
Yes.
That is a thing I would say. Oh, man, no one has identified my book yet. I'll get it. So a lot of people are saying they want to hear the bridge story. Well, here's a story that I learned many years ago.
That is
an interesting historical fact about a bridge. It is my only interesting historical bridge fact. New York City has a lot of bridges, like I think a dozen or more bridges or something like that. And the southernmost bridge is the Outer Bridge Crossing that I believe is the one that connects Staten Island to New Jersey. And most of the bridges are bridges. You know, it's the Brooklyn Bridge, the Manhattan Bridge, the Goethals Bridge, the Verrazano Bridge. These are bridges. But the Outer Bridge Crossing is called a crossing. It's got that extra word at the end of it, which is odd. At first seems like an odd thing. Outer Bridge Crossing. Why is it a crossing? And the reason that it is the Outer Bridge Crossing is that it is named after a person whose name was Eugenius Harvey Outerbridge. So it's Outer Bridge Crossing so that it wouldn't be the Outer Bridge Bridge. The guy's name was Outerbridge. And the bridge named after him is the outermost bridge of the New York City bridges. Also, Eugenius Harvey Outerbridge is a phenomenal. That is a wealthy villain from a Marvel.
I was about to say that is my favorite Silver Age Batman villain.
That guy hangs out with the Kingpin.
The only thing that would make that story better is if the bridge was named for him, like after him, but by like a friend. It was like, "Hey, Eugene, I want to do something special for you. We named one of the new construction projects in the city after you. I think you're gonna like it." And he was like, "Ah ha ha!" Once he finally saw it.
Yup. Oh man. Felix says Jonathan Harker. Thank you. That's
thank you. Yes.
Thank you so much.
I could not remember Harker.
Project Serena is a spec Evo world where a terraformed moon implanted with the necessary biota to maintain a food chain, but the dominant life forms are domestic canaries.
Ooh.
That's cool. Now people are recommending books. Rob says, I love you, nerds. We love you, nerd.
Thank you.
Jennifer says, John Wyndham. Thank you. That's Robot Uprisings. Absolutely. Is that there's a name? I'm going to look it up right now because it's going to bug me that I can't remember it, and I happen to have it right here. I'm talking slowly so that I can find it.
This makes me think of anyone who's
Ian
ever watched...
Tregillis. That's the author. That's the one. Ian Tregillis, The Mechanical. This is the... Now it's going to play on my phone. I pushed the
look
wrong
what you've
button.
done.
It's great. Anyway, it's great. It's a lot of fun. Robots and stuff.
You talking like that made me think of anyone who's seen Good Morning Vietnam. The special features has one of the actual guys who did that announcement, who was actually the radio person. And he makes the point that he was not the only one. So, like, you could interview multiple people who said Good Morning Vietnam, and they would be an actual legitimate source.
Cool.
Because he said people would come up and be like, I listened to you. And he's like, when were you there? Then, nope.
Yep.
It wasn't me. It was whoever took over after me. But he said the one thing Williams got wrong is that he would do a Good Morning Vietnam. And he's like, that's not what it was. It was so I could get ready. So it was Good Morning Vietnam.
There have been 2 times already during this discussion that I have lengthened my speech so that I can do another thing.
Yep.
FCOT says, nice nails. Thank you very much. I got 3 nail polish colors for the holidays, and these are great. I love these pastel-y colors. Fun fact, Will can't tell the difference.
No, I hate pastel-y colors.
Because the pastel colors are hard to see.
Pastels are colors that won't commit.
Let's see if I can
get some more light.
Get some more light so people can see it. These are the colors I've got going on.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go. Now you can see it.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Pastels
I really like
are colors
these.
that won't commit to whatever color they are. And I hate them.
Will is colorblind. That's why Will can't tell the difference. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, those look basically the same to me. They look like slightly different shades of each other.
Also, somebody said something. Dunk says best name ever. I assume in reference to Genius Harvey Outerbridge. I also have a story about people with the best names. 2 people come to mind. One of whom I met in person. The 2 best names I've ever encountered of real life people. Someone. I used to do field work out in the Black Hills of South Dakota.
Yep.
And one of the years that I went out there, this was more than 10 years ago because we would go to, I think this was Custer State Park. It was one of the state parks over in the Black Hills. And there were park rangers. And we ended up talking to the park rangers. And one of the park rangers, I think he was the lead ranger, at least in that section. His name was Rusty Wilder. That was his name. Like, that's great. What a great name.
I was born into this job.
Oh, but then the best one was I was reading papers one time about bugs. And I came across a study on insects. And one of the names of the authors was Funk. And I thought, that's interesting. That Funk. Who is this scientist named Funk? And they turned out to be a scientist at Vanderbilt University. I think their name was Daniel J. Funk. And they were a professor, a PhD holding professor of entomology, which means that this person's given name and title is Dr. DJ Funk, which is phenomenal. That's great. Assuming that person is still at Vanderbilt, they're like 4 hours in that direction. Right? You drive over and meet Dr. DJ Funk. Marklar says, any suggestions for what musicians can do for paleontology? I love the Cruise in the Fossil Freeway album you guys suggested once. Oh, man. Yeah. There have been some, like, paleontology songs.
Our friend Gnarls was the one who introduced me to that album, so they may know more. But, yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any other, like... There's the old cassette... We Sing Dinosaurs that me and Laura were talking about the other day because she rediscovered it. And we were both just like, oh my gosh, right. This thing from when we were children. But other than that, I can't think of other like specific paleo albums or like artists. There's like specific songs that come up. There's the We May Be Giants.
Yeah,
I'm a paleontologist.
Yep, which Renee just posted in the comments.
But other than that, I can't think of any specific ones.
Yeah, and I know there are paleontologist musicians.
Yeah.
Dr. Chris Widga, who is over at the museum, used to be a jazz musician.
Really?
Yeah. He used to be in... Oh, man, I might get this wrong.
The Windows.
The Windows. I think... Chris and the Windows. I think he used to be in a trombone quartet.
Cool.
I think that's true, or I don't remember if that's true. That might not be true.
Well, I want him to play in a trombone quartet.
Right, now we're going to have
to get him. Even better if he wasn't.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Jack says, I started listening to you guys to bond with my dinosaur-crazed nephew. It worked.
Hey!
But dinosaurs were so last year, he cares about space now. I haven't stopped listening, though. We have 2-ish space-themed episodes. Mm-hmm. Episode 26 is astrobiology, and episode 100 is the origins of the Earth. But that's about it so far. So,
we've had ideas for other spacey stuff.
And we have requests.
I'm sure this has come up as well. But I love getting to talk about that stuff because in college I stumbled into an astrophysics minor, quite literally by accident. I was just taking physics, and I loved the professor, and I like physics. I was the rare biologist among my friends that liked math. Most other people that I hung out with did not. But I took all the physics classes, and then they had a planetarium. So I took the planetarium and astronomy classes. And then both of those professors approached me and said, hey, listen, if you take this last physics class and the planetarium internship, we can give you an astrophysics minor. I went, okay.
I think I ended up at the end of my undergraduate, I like 1 or 2 classes away from a Chinese minor.
There you go. Yep.
That I didn't end up getting.
I love stories of people who just happen upon. They're like, well, you've effectively gotten this minor.
Okay, sure. Oh, this has been so much fun.
It's been really good.
Everyone, we have had such a good time hanging out with all of you. I just looked up the Discord, and my goodness, the Discord has exploded.
That's so exciting.
We've got a bajillion people in here now. Which is so cool. I don't even know what that button does. I'm not going to mess with that.
He's going to break it.
Oh, so, we look forward to doing more of this kind of stuff, hanging out with our listeners. We are really excited about the Discord growing. We hope that people will indulge in our new merch and our new art. We hope that when you do, you also follow those artists. Rob does a bunch of really cool paleo art. Anna's on Instagram.
Yep.
So check out the people that work with us. We really appreciate the stuff that they do. Yeah. Keep sending us your thoughts and your suggestions. Like I said, I think that one thing I'm going to do is I'll post on social media and see if we can get people to start sharing their stories from Common Descent and how they found us and their favorite things over the years. Because, we're really excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's been pretty amazing. And I'm very excited for this year. We got a lot of fun stuff planned.
Yeah. So, I think it's about time for us to wrap up. We've been here for just under 2 hours. Going on 2 hours. Mm-hmm. And I'm hungry.
I'm very hungry.
We've been working really hard. You probably had blood taken from you today, I assume. You went to the doctor. So, we gotta eat some food. And either watch Boba Fett, maybe watch a movie, or maybe play Pokemon.
Yeah.
We'll have to decide what it is.
Abound.
The world is our lazy oyster. We will leave this episode, this live stream, up on the YouTube public. So if you missed part of it, if you ever want to rewatch it, feel free to go back and you will be able to do so.
Yeah, apologies to anyone's comments or questions that we didn't get to, but thank you so much for participating.
Thank you so much for joining us. If you would like to listen to this as an audio, like I said, assuming the audio turns out okay and there's no problems, we should be able to release this as an audio episode on the podcast. We release episodes every fortnight. Our next episode is episode 132, and it's our Darwin Day episode.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a ton of fun. Oh, we have a guest. The guest that we have already recorded with the guest. So that is going to go up. Oh, we're so excited.
So I just now put together some news and it'll be good to go.
Absolutely. All right. People are saying thank you. I like to look at what people are saying at the end because they say nice things and it makes me feel.
And that's why we do this.
That's why we.
It's for the praise.
The praise and the validation.
Yep.
It's for all the kind words.
Fuels us.
That's how we grow. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. It's fun because I see that a number of the people here, we've got a bunch of our patrons who are in here. We've got people who I've never seen in the streams before, which some of whom I assume are not patrons.
Welcome.
Rob's here. That's great. Gnarls is here. So a lot of our podcast family, of our various circles of podcast family. Milu says so excited about Dart. Yeah, you're gonna like it. There is yeah. It's gonna be good. I was so excited about it. Oh man, I don't want to leave. People are saying all sorts of nice things about me.
If we weren't so hungry.
Yes. Yeah.
But
time to go.
Our stomachs have become the deciding factor.
Also, I gotta say, the cat did not disturb us at any point during this live stream.
Yeah,
she's sleeping in the chair. Yeah, she still exists. I was expecting her to make an appearance on the live chat.
Yeah.
So, all right. Hey, next time live stream, maybe there'll be a cat.
Yeah, you'll have to check in then and see if she wants to grace you with her presence.
You'll have to watch every minute of video content that we put out.
There's a tail.
Yeah. This is great. So Jennifer said, nice things. And then Jay says, nice things, lame joke. That's the oeuvre. That's what we're going for. And some of us are patrons but don't want to use their real name on YouTube. That is excellent. David, I'm jealous of your nails. Yep, you should be. Jade says, show the cat, please.
She's sleeping.
She's asleep. We're not going to bother the cat. She is very... You're going to have to stay tuned. Listen if you want to see the cat. Yesterday, Laura, I was showing off my new nails, and Laura commented that she said, what I'm learning is that you just look good in any nail polish color, you son of a gun.
Yep. You're actually, I might be able to get an angle of the cat.
Well, let's not.
You don't want to try it?
No, we won't worry about it. We'll make him wait. We'll make him wait and listen. All right. Shall we get out of here?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you again so much for joining us. This is the classic end of thing ramble.
Yep.
That we do. But we are done. So I'm gonna hover over the end stream button here. Whew. Okay. Well, we did it. 5 years.
Yay.
5 years.
All downhill from here.
All downhill from here. Sign off phrase.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.